fine.
Oh, what do I tell you?
It's all good.
I could do. I'm in the modern era, sort of. Yeah, so I went over to the admission today from 12:30 to 2. I figured I'd show up at 12:30 and kind of put out the one sheet that we created, put the cards on the table so they can participate. The mathematics, or the math department was there. So there was no one to cover it.
Yes, do that.
Or just nobody there. But the good news is, all of the people who were supposed to have questions were across the street having lunch outside, standing and sitting off the line. And so,
It's 1:30, so what's up? I'm yours.
Awesome. Back by unpopular demand. My name is Kalista Shields, and this is my capstone presentation. So a little bit about me. I'm a creative technologies major and a communications minor. I've been a web developer for Bits for the past 5 years. I actually helped build the current iteration of Berry.edu on the CMS. All the code that you're seeing now is mine, which is pretty cool. I've been on the Berry College forensics team for 4 years. I got my first national title last year, and I got my 10th state title this year. So that's really exciting. I'm really passionate about assistive technology, accessibility, and medical technology. And as you'll see in these next couple of slides, I'm a vinyl cutter enthusiast. And this is going to bring us to the portfolio theme for today, which is using CNC machinery to fabricate interactive and aesthetically culturally relevant designs. So my first project that I have for this is my favorite project that I've ever built for the Creative Tech program, and it is called Cosplayed. It was created so cosplayers can have a Canon-compliant mobility aid for conventions and competitions. Miota is a guitar that converts into a cane using a dovetail joint that I 3D printed, and it is designed for someone cosplaying the Danganronpa character Ibuki Miota. So you can see the handle right here, the character, and this is the guitar in cane mode over there. And I made this in Fusion 360, and it was fabricated using a 3D printer for the handle and the dovetail joint that you can see the model of right there. I used the crawlbot to make the body of the guitar, and I used the laser cutter to rapidly prototype different iterations of the handle. The handle was specifically focused on ergonomic design, so I had to go through a lot of iterations of it. The initial design was a lot spikier and wasn't as comfortable to hold, but I wanted to make something that could be held at both angles and still work really well and work really comfortably. The dovetail joint attaches the handle to the cane on both sides, on both the cane side and the guitar side, and it can hold up to 300 pounds. We tested this by leaning on it and also attaching weights to the handle until we could see if the dovetail would break. So that was a fun experiment to try. But overall, this was just a ton of fun to make and to use the CNC machinery to make this cool, accessible technology. The next one that I made is a bunch of anime lamps that I call anime as an important part of our culture. A lot of these are anime themed. And this was designed to provide an aesthetically pleasing decorations to appeal to anime fans. All of these were engraved on acrylic with the laser cutter, and I 3D printed the bases or laser cut them. So this whole process was made entirely using CNC machinery. Then the most recent version of the lamp, it changes colors when you press down on the base, which is pretty cool. I made the PCB for this, the printed circuit board, myself, and I used an @tiny85 in order to attach and used it to control the lights on the PCB. I would also make wooden enclosures if I wanted it to be a little bit more custom and special, because you can engrave things on the wood. I also made a new setting on the laser that helped with the fracturing with the laser. So you can see right here, this is the original acrylic etching on the laser cutter. It looks horrible, especially after repeated use, and it heats up with the light, and it causes these horrifying looking fractures that make the character look really bad, versus the new design with the new settings on the laser, where it looks a lot cleaner. It's a lot less heat applied to it, which causes the acrylic to fracture less. So using those CNC skills, I was able to improve this product and iterate on it to just make a better design overall. My next one is belt buckles, a complete deviation from the last two that I made, but these are a fashionable statement piece, and I made these for last year's Battle on the Mountain. I made a ton of them for my friends, and these were all modeled in Fusion 360. The SVGs were made in Inkscape, and they were entirely fabricated print in place using a 3D printer. It's a print in place design, which means that right off the printer you can wear it. There's no supports, nothing needed. So you could just take it off the printer and put it on your belt. As you can see here, that's actually the belt I'm wearing right now. It connects and it works perfectly fine. It's a little bit flimsy sometimes because it is made out of plastic, but that's just a product of it being 3D printed. The buckle moves freely through a cylinder, and you can also print it not print in place with just the buckle and attach really whatever you want to it. So I think that was a really cool addition to the design that I made. Now this is going to bring me to my capstone project, Hyperfixated, a socially conscious clothing brand. Now let's talk about what Hyperfixated is. It's a brand that focuses on social justice, specifically in 3 different areas: transgender rights, anti-racism, and women's rights. It has 3 unique designs that are printed on hats, such as this one, shirts, sweatshirts, and keychains, and 50% of the profits are donated to the American Civil Liberties Union. So here are the designs I made, and I'm going to go through each of them individually. This is the first one that I made. It was actually designed by one of my little cousins, and it supports, with an increase of anti-trans legislation and hate crimes, it was important for me to show support to the trans community, and I think this design is a really cool way to do it. The next one is anti-racism. The design says dismantle systemic racism, and racism has always been a problem in American society, but it's been made worse recently to several voting bills and bills that are continuing to disenfranchise people systemically. And showing support and dismantling this process in a cool way is why I decided to make this design. And this is my best seller, my Gaslight Gatekeep Girl Boss. Women with the overturning of Roe v. Wade are in danger of this country, and women in STEM fields and other fields that are male dominated face a lot of difficulty. So this shows women's empowerment and girl bossness. And so with the Girl Boss one, I actually did end up making several alternate designs because I sold this one in person at the spring market, and it failed to get a lot of attention, probably because it looks like Trump merch. So I completely revamped it, did it on pink, and made it with the Barbie font, which I think it looks pretty cool. So I like these designs a little bit better. And so there are now 4 designs of the Make America Girl Boss Again sweatshirt. So my goals for this project were that this project will promote social justice through clothing, specifically hats, sweatshirts, and shirts. The project will be sold in an online shop and at the spring market, totaling in 50 total garments sold. And the project will allow me to donate 50% of the profits of each piece to a charitable cause. And let's talk about the methods and how I was able to accomplish these goals. The merchandise was largely sold through Etsy, specifically using a service called Printify. And it's a drop shipping service which allows me to put a design on a shirt and ship it out without me having to take any of the inventory in. So this allowed me to completely automate the business by just using Printify, and the designs were print on demand. My largest portion of sales were done in person through the spring market and my church and one of my mom's social clubs. 25 of the garments were sold in person, with 50 of them being a bulk order. My mom had a Girl Boss themed scavenger hunt, so they loved these shirts. And 3 were sold at the spring market, and 2 of them were sold through my church. The in-person designs were created using a vinyl cutter. This is heat transfer vinyl that you can just put onto any shirt, hat, whatever you want. I tried doing screen printing, but that process became really inconsistent. I was only able to get 2 or 3 good shirts out of the entire screen printing process, and it was kind of messy, so I preferred to go back and use the things that I was more comfortable with to make a consistent product. So advertising, this is where I kind of strayed from my original plan. I originally planned to use Instagram and Facebook, but this was pretty unsuccessful. I was able to get like a net 100 views. But then I started making a ton of fake Reddit posts and leading the comments back to my Etsy shop. I made 17 different fake posts, which increased my views by over 500%. These are some of the fake Reddit posts. One of them even got an article, which actually linked to the Etsy shop in it, which was wonderful publicity for me. This one went pretty viral. It was on a bunch of Minecraft parkour videos, all once again linking back to the Etsy shop. And you can see here the difference in traffic. This was right when I posted the fake post, over 2,000 visits versus me paying for Instagram's ad features. So the fake posts and the guerrilla marketing tactics were definitely a lot more successful than the traditional methods of targeted advertising. And for pricing, it was done in fives to make things seem more even. The sweatshirts ranged from $30 to $35 depending on the designs. The shirts were $15 to $20, and this was a profit of $10 for the design. The profit was total $400. I messed up on that number there. So half of the profit was $200, and that's what I was able to donate. The keychains sold for $5, which was a net $3 profit per keychain. Here's some of my happy customers in their fun merch. The Girl Boss ones are really popular. So let's talk about the goals and if they were met. So my design goal number one was to promote social justice through clothing. I think I did that well with these 3 different designs, and especially having 4 designs for the Girl Boss ones. Design goal number 2, I wasn't able to sell 50 total garments. I sold 30 of them. However, the 50 total items were supplemented by the key change. What I noticed at the spring market was that people were more willing to spend less money on a smaller item because there were just a bunch of other stalls there and people wanted to spread their money around. So people were more likely to buy a keychain. So the rest of that was supplemented, the 50 items that I needed. So I was able to sell 50 total items. In design goal number 3, the project will allow me to donate 50% of the profits to a charitable cause. I did that. We donated $200 to the ACLU, which I think is a great cause, and it aligns really well with these charities and making sure that people get the representation that they deserve, especially, you know, with the way that the legal system's going, it's not doing so great for minorities. So this was a great way to use what I made to help other people. So with all my work in creative technologies, I will finally be graduating in May after 5 long years here. I hope to become a product designer for medical devices so I can continue using 3D modeling and CAD and other things like CNC machinery. I've really grown to love that here during my time. If that doesn't work, I would love to fall back on either software engineering or web development, because that's what I have been doing here at Barry for a while. So I'm currently unemployed. So if you have any opportunities, hit me up.
All right, so let's open up for faculty or alumni.